how that materialized? Because you mentioned Bloomfield loved playing with Butterfield. How is it that you now guys started the Flag?
Yeah, to my knowledge, Albert Grossman urged him to put a blues band together. And he and Michael got together with Barry Goldberg to put this band together. Now, I think I ran into Michael down to Cafe or Go-Go or the Bitter End a few months later, and he said, look, we're putting this band together and we need a bass player. You want to play? And at that time, I was doing lots of sessions, as Dylan's bass player. I got a lot of work out of it. Oh, you play with Dylan? Yeah, I got an album. Yeah. So I got a lot of work, and it was lucrative. I was doing good in there. And they said, well, listen, come on out to Mill Valley, and we'll have a great band. And it'll be amazing. People will love it. And he said, we got Billy Monday play drums, and simultaneously, at that time, I was working with a producer named Arthur Gorson, who was managing Murray the K. And Murray the K was putting on the show. Had the first Cream concert in America, the first Who concert in America, Wilson Pickett, and it was just a great lineup. And so I was helping him get it all together. And Wilson Pickett has this drummer. I'm just hanging out in the back of some readers. And Wilson Pickett has this drummer. Every now and then he turns around and goes, drummer, $50. Drummer, 25. And he was getting pissed. He was fatback drum. He was solid like a mountain. And so afterwards, went over to him and said, I'm getting together with a band that's starting, and we're looking for a drummer. And this was after hearing him. I hadn't thought, Billy Monday's great. Played with the Mothers, and I played some Dylan stuff also. But this guy was a monster. And so this is Buddy Miles. Mm-hmm. So I tell Michael and Barry about it, and they come down to the whichever theater it was, and they hear him, and they love him. So we have a little meeting afterwards. And he said, well, look, okay, I'll do this. I mean, I'd love to get away from Crazy Pickett. And so, but you got to talk to him. I can't talk to him. So he's doing a session on 57th Street, America Hotel, Mirror Sound, it's called. And so we go down there, and Bloomfield goes into the studio, and he says, he talks to Pickett, and all of a sudden, he comes running out of the studio with Pickett behind him, and threatening him, waving a gun, and that was how we got Buddy. We ran up the stairs to Buddy's room, and we worked it out, and then we had to tell Billy that, he said, well, that's cool, man. I'm just going to stay with Zappa. And I'm downstairs at the theater next to the Cafe building. So all was cool, and that was the rhythm section. And then I left maybe 2 or 3 weeks later. Buddy was already out there. He picks me up at the airport, and we move into the band house in Mill Valley and start rehearsing.
And then the first things you recorded were for the soundtrack for The Trip.
The Trip, yeah.
You replaced Graham Parsons, who was originally supposed to do or International Submarine Band.
Well, yeah. I mean, you see him in there, but Peter Fonda, who was the star of the movie, had come up to Mill Valley with a pound of reefer, and said, look, talking to Bloomfield, we got to work something out here. I need the psychedelic music you guys do, which is, look at that psychedelic. but it was. I mean, the soundtrack we did, I think, was great.
Yeah, it's awesome. I actually even own. I love that film. I even own the poster of it.
Ah, it was. It was all off our heads. Just rolling with it, grabbing
Yeah,
out of this.
you improvised most of it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Nick just rolling these crazy lyrics off the top of his head. But we just went, and Paul Beaver played the Moog. And it was the first Moog synthesizer scenario. It was a crazy time because we were staying at these motels. I wake up in the morning, the first night that we were there, the room's filled with people. We drove down in 2 station wagons from San Francisco, the Mill Valley, to Los Angeles, to the hotel. And we were recording the Capitol. And so that first night, we get into town, get acclimated, and I had no idea. I'm from New York, Queens, Jewish guy. But they were Jews too, Barry and Michael.
Right.
But just as a point of information, I'm not familiar with this world. I wake up somewhere in the middle of the morning, and the room's filled with Robin Hood-like creatures, people dressed like that. They were all the extras in the movie who were friends with Barry. And I said, oh, well, maybe they got an early call. But no, Barry, he was like, come on, stay over here tonight.
Incredible. And then how far or how long after that did you guys start the recording process for the first album you did that featured Bloomfield?
Pretty much went right into it. Maybe a week or two. We had all kinds of things. Car station wagons broken into, instruments being stolen or junkied off. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, that must. I mean, you were dealing with. There was a bunch of junkies in the band.
Yeah, so it's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
It took me about a month to stop loaning him $5. Don't worry, you'll get it back later.
Did you know when you first started loaning them? Did you realize the context?
Yeah, hey, yeah. I was a little naive.
Yeah.
But I learned the tricks. I learned enough to know that was not a great path to follow.
Oh.
And, hopefully we could straighten it out, clear it up. But that's all an illusion with junkies.
I mean, do you think the band would have survived and continued had there not been some of the issues that?
Well, I mean, you look at it this way: Grateful Dead, longevity.
Yeah. Never
really had hit records. Just kept playing. They had great gigs, and there was a business that kept going. Drugs and alcohol killed their play.
Yeah.
Michael couldn't go out and play. He couldn't sleep.
Right.
And Barry, thank God, he went back to Chicago and cleaned up, and it's fine. But Buddy turned into a monster, the other kind of monster.
Right. And I mean, when you guys
and Albert got exasperated. He was behind it all. He came up and we had these big serious meetings. But the horn section was really great, but out of control.
Right. And you guys, or during that time, you played Monterey Pop. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
That's
Monterey Pop.
Incredible.
Just walking in, smelling the air, and everybody was zoned in either acid or whatever available drugs there were, Owsley stuff. But we sound checked, and as I ran into, as I was coming in, went to Janice and Jimmy, and everybody was just kind of like walking around. Jimmy came a little later. I would say, what a wonderful world this would be if, everything could be like this.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't the way. But so we got up. I played, I think, the second day in the afternoon, and we were so pumped. We've been rehearsing, and Michael was, "This is groovy. This is so groovy, man." And it was, But at the same time, maybe we rushed a little bit, But through our whole thing, we had a lot of this racial, you know, mixed band. White guys playing back music,
Yeah.
Some kind of ridiculous stuff. But the band played great. It had so much great potential, but it fell off the cliff. It went to the edge, and instead of pulling back,
Yeah.
um, uh,
Incredible. Well, y'all made some amazing music.